Okay, be honest. When someone says gluten-free cupcake, what do you picture? Because for me, it's either dry enough to qualify as sand, or it's too gummy and chewy and just gross. Today, I'm proving that gluten-free red velvet cupcakes can actually be amazing. So here are the ingredients I used. Feel free to pause here and take a screenshot, and they'll also be in the description below too, along with some links to the things that I use and bake with and love. So let's get started. So this recipe is for gluten-free red velvet cupcakes, but they can also be made not gluten-free as well if you aren't gluten-free. Just use regular all-purpose flour. So first we're going to start with the dry ingredients. Gluten-free baking usually is not just swap the flour and pray. I mean, you can do that, but it won't turn out very good. So gluten normally gives structure. It's like the scaffolding of a building, if you will. Without it, baked goods are like super confused. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm using the Bob's Red Mill gluten-free 1-to-1 flour. It has xanthan gum, which basically pretends to be gluten. It's like a fake it till you make it sort of thing. You can use that, or you can use regular all-purpose flour. Just if you use a gluten-free flour, make sure to add the proper amounts of xanthan gum, which you can Google depending on what your flour is. Now, for red velvet, this is where people get confused. Red velvet is not chocolate cake. It just has a little bit of cocoa. It adds flavor depth without turning it into chocolate cake. And, of course, you gotta add the sugar in there. So, in your bowl of dry ingredients, add in your baking soda, flour, granulated sugar, and cocoa powder, a little bit of it, and salt. Now to our wet ingredients. We're going to add oil, or you can use melted butter if you would like, but I'm going to be so honest, I was too lazy to do that. Oil, eggs, a little bit of vinegar. The tiny amount of vinegar reacts with the baking soda to give it lift, which is extra important in gluten-free baking because we're already lacking structure a little bit. Add in vanilla, milk, you can use dairy-free milk if you'd like, and red food coloring. Red food coloring, of course, makes it red velvet. I had to add quite a lot of red food coloring because it turned pink, and that wasn't great. We're not making pink cupcakes, we're making red velvet cupcakes, duh. Slowly combine your wet and dry ingredients until it's all the way mixed in. Don't add it all at once unless you want a big old flour cloud and you want to make a mess. But, you do you, boo. Also, you can mix it by hand like I'm doing here, or you can use a handheld mixer or a standing mixer, whatever floats your boat. And like I said, I did have to add quite a bit of red food coloring. You can try to find a natural alternative if that's what you like doing, but look, man, it's red food coloring. I don't mind. I also added a little bit of extra cocoa powder because I thought that would help deepen the red color. It did a little bit. I kind of just used my eyeballs. You want it aggressively red. Valentine's Day, when I'm making red velvet cupcakes, is not the time to be subtle. You know what I'm saying? I say that a lot. You probably do know what I'm saying. Anyway, mix all that up like so. And while I'm mixing, let me tell you something. Red velvet cupcakes are so fun. You can make them for Valentine's Day. You can make them not for Valentine's Day. Whenever you want a red velvet cupcake. Red velvet cake, besides lemon cake, red velvet is my favorite. I got some cute little Valentine's Day cupcake tins, and I put them in a pan. Fill each little cupcake tin up 3/4 of the way to halfway full. It doesn't really matter. If you want your cupcakes to be a little bit bigger, do 3/4 of the way, but don't fill them all the way up to the top because that will leave you with a disaster, and we don't want that. You're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I believe that's 175 Celsius, and you are going to bake these bad boys for 18 to 25 minutes, depending on your oven. I am going to be honest, I usually just eyeball it, and I use my good senses, my smell, and my eyeballs to see when they're done. Make sure they're not overcooking. Make sure they're not completely liquid in the middle, But if you want to go based off of a timer, anywhere between that 18 to 25 minute ballpark should be good. If you want, you could also make this into a cake. You can bake it for slightly longer in a little 9-inch round pan or a rectangle pan, whatever you would like. You could also make mini cupcakes with this. That would be so fun too. And no, you don't want to open the oven to check on them every 30 seconds. That's how cupcakes collapse and dreams die. When they're done baking, let them cool fully. I like to do it for 5 minutes or so in the pan and then the rest of the time out of the pan to prevent them from over baking. If you don't cool them fully before decorating, the frosting will melt and you will be sad, and we don't want that, do we? You can make your own cream cheese frosting, or you can use frosting from a jar, which is what I did, because, fun fact, I don't love making frosting at the moment. I'm working on it. I might like making frosting in the future, but, you know, you do you. You do you. Cream cheese frosting is always the way to go with red velvet, but if you don't like cream cheese frosting, a good old vanilla frosting or even chocolate frosting would work well too. You can also put white chocolate chips inside your cupcakes before you bake them. That would be amazing. Have some fun decorating them. Get creative. Use different piping bags if you want piping tips. Use a spoon or a knife. You just do whatever you want, you know? You can also add some sprinkles. I added some really fun Valentine's Day sprinkles, and it made them look super, super cute. You know the best thing about these cupcakes? My family enjoyed the heck out of them. They were super, super moist, and nobody could even tell that they're gluten-free. So if you are gluten-free, Valentine's Day doesn't mean sad desserts anymore. And if you're not gluten-free, congrats, you still get to eat and enjoy these. Alright, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and yeah, enjoy your cupcakes.